30th at SummerSlam, and Roman Reigns like never
Monday
before.
Night Raw has always been home to chaos, drama, and unpredictable encounters. But few moments have shaken the backstage environment like the confrontation that unfolded between Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins, and Paul Heyman. In a scene that blended raw intensity with long-buried history, Lesnar's mere presence turned an ordinary backstage interview segment into one of the most explosive moments of the night. The Beast Incarnate isn't a man who appears without purpose. When Brock Lesnar storms into the arena, everyone pays attention, from superstars lacing their boots to the crew members behind the cameras. His aura commands respect, and when he locked eyes with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman, fans knew they were witnessing a moment that would have massive implications for WWE moving forward. Setting the stage for confrontation. Earlier in the evening, Seth Rollins had been cutting one of his signature promos backstage, flaunting his confidence as World Heavyweight Champion. Dressed in his flamboyant attire and oozing arrogance, Rollins spoke about his reign at the top and his resilience against every challenger WWE has thrown at him. By his side was Paul Heyman, who has been lingering around Raw in recent weeks, creating speculation about his shifting allegiances and long-term intentions. Heyman, the wise man of WWE, has always been a master manipulator. His history with both Lesnar and Roman Reigns makes his involvement in any storyline layered with intrigue. While Rollins boasted about his future, Heyman's sly smirk hinted at something more brewing behind the scenes. The tension was already palpable before Lesnar even arrived. The Beast arrives, suddenly the atmosphere shifted. The camera panned as Brock Lesnar stormed into the frame, his massive frame towering over everyone in the corridor. The chatter stopped and Rollins froze, his expression shifting from smug confidence to guarded unease. Heyman, however, looked caught between shock and anticipation, as though he had been waiting for this moment. Lesnar wasted no time. He stepped directly into Rollins' personal space, his cold glare locking onto the champion. The silence was deafening until Lesnar's booming voice cut through. "You think you're the man around here? You think carrying that title makes you untouchable?" Rollins, never one to back down, tried to respond with his trademark bravado. He smirked and retorted that he's not only the man, but the architect, the visionary, the one carrying WWE on his back, while guys like you show up when you feel like it. His words were sharp, but the nervous twitch in his body language betrayed his bravado. Heyman's divided loyalties. All eyes then turned to Paul Heyman, who stood frozen between his two greatest clients in history. Heyman's relationship with Brock Lesnar is legendary. He guided the Beast to multiple world championships and shaped his dominance over the WWE landscape for decades. But in recent years, Heyman shifted his allegiance to Roman Reigns, helping cement the tribal chief as the face of the company. Now with Roman temporarily absent and Seth Rollins thriving as champion, Heyman has lingered around Rollins like a chess master, scouting his next move. Was Heyman considering aligning himself with Rollins, or was he setting him up for Lesnar's wrath? As Lesnar and Rollins exchanged words, Heyman's nervous expressions told the story. He tugged at his tie, shuffled his feet, and raised his hands as if to calm both men, but deep down, he seemed almost thrilled by the chaos. The verbal exchange. The confrontation escalated when Lesnar mocked Rollins for his flashy outfits and unpredictable antics. He sneered that Rollins may be a good talker, but he'll never be the real deal inside the ring compared to the Beast. Rollins fired back, reminding Lesnar that he beat him at WrestleMania 35, and that unlike Lesnar, he shows up week after week to fight, entertain, and prove himself. The back and forth became a battle of credibility versus consistency. Lesnar relied on his unmatched dominance, while Rollins leaned on his endurance and resilience. With each insult, the tension grew heavier, and the fans watching from home could feel the eruption coming. Physical sparks fly. Just as Rollins took a step closer, daring Lesnar to make a move, the Beast shoved him against the wall with one massive hand. The force sent shockwaves through the backstage corridor, and crew members scrambled out of the way. Rollins, refusing to look weak, shoved back, and for a moment it seemed like fists were about to fly. Heyman, panicked but still calculating, jumped between the two, pleading with both men to stop. His voice cracked as he begged Lesnar to stand down and warned Rollins not to poke the bear. But it was too late. The confrontation had already shifted from verbal to physical. The WWE Universe was left on the edge of their seats, wondering when the first punch would land. Historical context adds weight. Historical context adds weight. What makes this encounter so compelling is the history between all three men. Rollins and Lesnar have clashed multiple times, most notably at WrestleMania 35, when Rollins pulled off the impossible by defeating Lesnar for the Universal Championship. That victory defined Rollins' career, but it also left Lesnar with a grudge he's never fully settled. Meanwhile, Heyman's involvement adds another layer of complexity. His loyalty has always been fluid, shifting toward whoever he deems the most powerful. Could Heyman be orchestrating this confrontation to reunite with Lesnar? Or is he using Lesnar's rage to test Rollins' mettle as champion? The intrigue lies not only in what happened during the segment, but in what it means moving forward. The fallout backstage. After WWE officials rushed in to separate the two superstars, Rollins stormed off, visibly rattled, but refusing to show weakness. Lesnar, on the other hand, remained calm, almost amused by the chaos he had just caused. Heyman was left alone in the hallway, shaking his head and muttering under his breath, clearly torn between the two forces pulling at him. Backstage reports suggest that Rollins demanded more security around his locker room, while Lesnar reportedly disappeared from the arena without another word. Heyman, ever the strategist, was seen later on his phone, pacing frantically as though plotting his next move. Fan reaction and speculation. As soon as the segment aired, the WWE Universe exploded with speculation. Some fans believe this confrontation sets up a massive pay-per-view clash between Rollins and Lesnar, while others think Heyman is orchestrating a reunion with the Beast. Many noted the callbacks to WrestleMania 35, speculating whether WWE is preparing to revisit their rivalry on an even bigger stage. On social media, reactions were immediate. Rollins vs. Lesnar with Heyman in the middle? This is cinema. We all know Heyman is pulling strings. The question is, who's he really backing? Rollins is the perfect foil to Lesnar. Their energy is so different, but it just works. What's next? The confrontation leaves WWE with countless storytelling directions. Will Rollins and Lesnar collide in a brutal showdown for the World Heavyweight Championship? Will Heyman betray one man to side with the other? Or could this all be part of a larger plot involving Roman Reigns' eventual return? What's certain is that the dynamic between these three figures is far from over. Lesnar thrives on unfinished business. Rollins refuses to back down from any challenger, and Heyman loves nothing more than manipulating situations to his advantage. Conclusion: a collision of titans. Brock Lesnar's confrontation with Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman wasn't just a random backstage moment. It was a masterclass in storytelling, tension, and unpredictability. With history, personal grudges, and shifting alliances at play, this encounter has set the stage for one of the most compelling chapters on Raw in months. For now, the WWE Universe is left buzzing with questions. Who will Heyman side with? Can Rollins survive the Beast again? And when Lesnar decides to strike for real, will Rollins be ready, or will history repeat itself?